matters that were identified in the motion.
Paul?
Yes.
Jimmy? Alan?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
All right, we're back in open. Let's go ahead and have a pledge and motion.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the many blessings of life. And as we come to this meeting, taking care of our town's business, we ask for your guidance and we ask for your help in making the right decisions for our town. These things we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I don't think anyone needs a recess, do we?
Good.
All right, let's go ahead and get started on our budget meeting, and I think that it's been a long time since I saw so few people for a budget meeting. But would anyone like to have comments on the budget?
Remember to officially open and close the public hearing for the record.
All right, we're opening the public hearing, public comments at 7:05. Anyone? Well, I'll tell you what let's do. Let's give at least a couple minutes just in case somebody pulls in. While we're talking about that, one thing that I want, while we're waiting on that, one thing that I want to add to the new business is John's proposal that he put out.
Do we want to talk about the FAQ?
Is there anyone who wants a paper copy of the FAQ? Bob and I drafted and got on the website to help people understand the budget.
Maybe that's because you're not here, that you answered all the questions.
Well, I would like to think we were so successful, but we still, glad to have people.
Thank y'all for taking the time to do that.
Yeah, it was, here, a great job on it.
We did good. Added a lot to it, I let it go right, and gave it a lot better presentation. Appreciate that.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So, I guess, one of the things I think is very important that we clear up, if people do have questions on it, is how large the budget is this year in comparison to previous years. And the reason that our budget is $3 million when in previous it was only around $1 million, is that we are forecasting to receive grants this year. So that's money from the state and the federal government, actually and other organizations, that is causing that budget to look much higher and our spending to look higher than what it normally is. So basically that grant money comes in and that grant money goes out just for those purposes. It's not revenue we can just play with. It has to be used for those purposes it was granted.
That's question number 3. You answered that.
Yeah, it's pretty well covered in that, but it's important to understand that in this case it's a matter of the fact that the budget accounts for that. We have to account for everything that we take in and everything that we spend. And this gives us a vehicle, if you will, an instrument by which to do so. And when you get grant money, from an external source, then you can only use it for the purpose that you requested it for. You can't just, put it in the bank and decide, well, I think I need it worse for something else. It doesn't work that way. It makes you pay it back if you try that. So it creates an illusion of the budget being nearly thrice what it would be described as local revenue and expenditure. It's only something close to a normal year-to-year uptick that you would expect anywhere.
All right,
Did anybody?
we're gonna close the public comments, and now we're gonna go to our opening of the budget hearing at 7:10.
That's what we did.
I know I said it, but we had it on the
Okay.
agenda the opposite.
Okay.
So we'll give a couple of minutes. Shannon, would you like to say anything?
I'm good. I'm not here to make news.
No, you're not here. Good point. Yeah. You don't want to be the news, okay. I really don't think we're gonna have anybody coming in, so we're gonna close the budget hearing part of the meeting at 7:10. New business, let's go ahead and take up John's proposed food truck ordinance. I know it's a little late getting to everybody, we just sent, the secretary over with it at 5 o'clock today, so.
Just so the folks in the audience know, there's a proposal for allowing mobile restaurants in the town. And the proposal is to allow them in R1 and R2 districts and operate only when sponsored for a specific event by a church or other nonprofit organization or by the owner of the property on which the event is to be held. They have to be approved in advance by town, and they have to obtain a mobile restaurant permit and provide evidence of sponsorship, including the description of the event and duration. They're still going to be required to have a Virginia Department of Health Food Services permit, and they have to have basically it be a permit for that business. It can't be transferred from another business. That sometimes happens. The permit is, John recommended that it be a $25 business license. And then they have to maintain that valid business license by the town as well, just like any business. They also are going to be required to collect and provide the town of Hurt meals tax that we have set as our rate. And then basically sounds, it has to be food and non-alcoholic beverages. And needs to be consumed in an area that's designated for that mobile restaurant or taken off-site to a different location. Sounds have to be such that you cannot hear it beyond 100 feet from the mobile restaurant, so lots like generators and loudspeakers. Basically, they have to park in the area that the permit describes, and they can't move to a different location after they've received their permit. They can't block safety, like no parking zones or places that are going to affect the entrance and exit of vehicles or pedestrians, and not next to fire hydrants, things like that. The way this one's written, except for in I-1, so industrial zone, so R1, R2, C1 commercial, they have to operate between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. and nothing past 9 p.m. Even in the I-1. I-1 they may be able to start earlier. And so one of the things that may be happening is that we hopefully will attract some food trucks to help with the construction workers that could be working on these, both audio, hopefully the water treatment plant, hopefully the plaza when that gets going. All of that could give us meals tax and help fund the town's budget.
Well, Larry, a minute ago there in item 5, the last sentence says that, in the I-1 district, it's allowed 24 hours.
Oh, I'm sorry,
But
yes.
the others are, you know, you mentioned 7, 8, just 9 feet. But, we only have one industrial zone, and that's the SDMP. So that wouldn't be an issue to start with. There's a stipulation there that it must be moved from the premises at least once per week. And I guess that's to maintain the definition of mobile.
I like how it talks about trash receptacles. They can't use like a public trash can, like at the town hall, so that the town has to pay for it. It has to be paid, the trash removal by the mobile restaurant.
There'll be no seating, just one picnic table for condiments and such, so you won't see seating around people.
And somebody feels comfortable if you've gone through it and we'll take a motion.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with the zoning where there's going to be allowed, like R1, R2, and C1 and I1. It all seems very reasonable to me. When you said no seating, why would there not be seating? Where'd you see that one? No outdoor seating shall be permitted.
Yeah.
See, that's interesting.
It, kind of keep people from throwing their trash on the ground and
We got to figure it out.
everything like that, so that way
They eat it.
they, in the car, or take it home,
Okay. Is everybody okay with that?
or to the park.
I mean, worst case scenario, we could roll a big trash can over there on days that we knew they were gonna be there and pull it back over here. And then the trucks will pick it up from us because we got a couple extra cans. If that turns out to be a problem.
If I was a mobile restaurant operator, wouldn't I want to have seating? Like, just a couple seats for them to be able to eat at? Because when I see them around, it seems like they all have them.
Some do and then some don't.
Joe Beans doesn't. But are they mobile technically?
No, they're set down, but a lot of them that move around don't
Okay.
have the seating. The ones that you see set up, like over there beside Sheets, in the
Yeah.
tire lot, they stay there year round, so they have the picnic tables.
I guess that's true.
And, you know, unless we wanna make an exception that you're going to leave your truck with your permit for a period of time, then I don't know if we want a bunch of food trucks parked all the time either.
I mean, if it's right in front of the construction site, that wouldn't bother me too long, right? If they're working on audio and all they want to do is serve their construction workers and have a picnic table, that doesn't bother me too much. Now, if it's in someone's yard in a neighborhood, definitely I wouldn't want that for a long period of time. But, I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it.
We can put it in the C and then C1 in industrial, that 3 picnic tables max.
But if you think that we could pull from the audio construction crew and they let us do that, the obvious place would be James Hubbard's old building up there, because that's gonna be their construction headquarters. And all their people that wanted to eat at the food truck could come down here, so that would be a good place. You could have 2 or 3 fixed
where's that?
tables out there. The old annex
The terminal
building,
building
yeah,
up there too.
going out of town.
Right,
There's a fence around it.
Yeah.
Aha, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, if it was there, I wouldn't mind if it was just for the length of the construction project.
That's made for your eyes and your commercial, you can.
If it was just
you
the
could do
eye.
like a max of 3 picnic tables, and then anything in the R1 areas, no picnic tables.
Well, you could handle this one on number 7 by leaving it like it is, but putting an exception down for the I-1 zone.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, what we would do is leave it up to them. Hey, if you wanna put a picnic table out here for your people, we're okay with it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my thought is to try not to make this super tough to meet. We want people to get these permits and get meals tax, right?
That's where if you give more leeway on your commercial and industrial versus the residential.
Yeah, if someone's having a wedding at their house,
Yeah.
they're not gonna leave it there for multiple
You're gonna
days.
have food trucks at a church, for a church event, the church, I know you and us, we're gonna put our own tables out there.
Yeah, or they already have them.
Yeah, they're already gonna be set up.
That's a good point. And those aren't even C1, that's all R1 where our
Yeah.
churches are.
But don't a whole lot of people come to a food truck, get the order, and take it home and
They
eat?
do,
Yeah, they do.
that's why I said, you know, if we just did an exception for the commercial and industrial, and just say you could have like 3 picnic tables.
Yeah.
The one at Grubhub behind Jack, they do a world of business. Once you go to the one and get it, you either take it to your vehicle or what, they don't have tables there. Now, I have one, if I got mine, and went to the old table in the front, you know, but, tables don't seem to affect their business at all.
Well, based on that, I mean, we're overthinking this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to encourage us getting these so that
Yeah.
construction workers stay in town limits or anybody buys from restaurants in our town and not in
Yeah,
other
the biggest
localities.
one on the sea is because we own the sea.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if everybody's okay with it, and maybe we could modify it if a person comes in and says, I'm not gonna do this unless I have tables, we could do that.
Well, I don't see why we couldn't change it if you wanted to revise it.
Okay. I mean, I'm for it.
That's why we're here.
We don't need to change anything at this terminal anyway, that's their problem.
Right,
They do what they please at Paris Falls table.
that's ABF property.
But it's still within town limits. Technically, right?
Yeah.
That would be,
But I'm just saying that ABF put picnic tables out there.
Ah, I see, right. It's not owned by the restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we would
yeah,
have.
this here regulates what the mobile restaurant can place, not what the property owner can place.
Because if we as a town decided we were to put 3 picnic tables over there,
Yeah, do that to
that'd
us.
be up to us. That's just regulate the food truck. And I don't think any of them mind, because most of them ain't gonna have room to carry 3 or 4 picnic tables anywhere anyway.
Okay.
I tend to agree, I don't think that many of them, I think most of them would say, look, we're in the food business, not the seating business.
Yeah, and you're right, I was thinking more of the semi-permanent ones you see out there, like near Forest. They have that, it's like a rodeo food trucks.
Yeah.
I know, I ran one of the night races over in Alva Vista, and they had 2 or 3 food trucks over there. And afterwards, got their barbecue and a drink, and I mean, you had to hold your drink, eat
Yeah.
your sandwich. I mean, while you stood, they didn't have anything but.
And then when you have kids, it's like, you're not even gonna do it. You know what I
Like I
mean?
said, with
It's gonna be all over them.
us controlling the shopping center, we could put,
We could theoretically open one of the businesses open and have seating inside of it.
Oh, that's scary.
Theoretically. Once it gets worked on. So it sounds like we don't think it needs to be changed.
we just leave it like that.
Okay.
Their motion.
Yeah, I think it's good enough to start with. We can always modify it if we need to. Oh, yeah.
So is the object to have food trucks over here in the parking lot of the plaza for like, anybody, but construction workers for when they start working on the plaza and things like that too?
I'd love to have
If
that.
Alveo construction workers are gonna be up here, well, is the town gonna rent the spaces to these food trucks?
Yeah, that's what we're passing ordinance right now.
So we are renting the spaces for them. So maybe if one wants to have 3 picnic tables,
They're not really
They
renting the
just-
space, they're paying the
They're just
tax.
paying the tax for it, they're not really renting.
But our permit has to tell them where they can go.
could we not rent them spaces? Could the town not rent them spaces like we
In
do
the
for the
plaza?
building?
Yeah,
And then if they want a space with tables, they could pay more rent because it's a bigger space than a parking lot.
That's not a bad idea.
That is a good idea.
That is a good idea.
I'm not sure exactly
We change this.
how to word it in this right now.
Yeah, but they might be a little funky about, we're paying meals tax, and now we gotta run a space, and we gotta run a
You
table.
have to balance it with what the Bible's saying about, we want to make sure that we're encouraging them to come in.
Yeah, and if we're gonna go after them, we want them to come in,
We
and,
need to bring people into the town, and we need them to eat and shop and do things here.
yeah, we want them to sell food because we get meals tax on it.
Yep, as many options as possible. I like that idea. I don't know how we would word that in here, but it is
If
a
it was in,
possibility.
if it was in the building, like Yamazato, they're paying rent and meals tax and everything.
Yes, and there is a provision in here to not put it right next to the Yamazato.
Yeah,
There has to be a minimum distance from another restaurant, when that other restaurant is open.
But I would think too, away from the building due to construction. Renovations.
I would say.
Yeah.
The construction company will have a buffer around it for safety anyway.
So we have a motion on the floor.
Nobody's made one. He said he was okay with it, but he didn't.
Yeah, I said okay with it.
Motion.
You wanna make,
All right, so there's quite a lot in here. So first one I'll do is 28454, mobile restaurants in the town, development standards. This provision to the town code be amended as presented. I'll just start with that.
There is a second.
Second.
Marissa?
Steve,
yes,
Paul,
Yes.
Jimmy,
Yes.
Alice.
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Gary.
Yes.
And the second motion I'd like to make is in regards to that for allowing mobile restaurants in R1, R2, C1, and I1 zoning. And that will require amending sections 28-6, section 28-84, section 28-293, and section 28-329 respectively to allow for the mobile restaurant as described in 28-454.
second.
Steve,
yes,
Paul,
Yes.
Jimmy.
Yes.
Alice.
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Gary.
Yes.
Any other comments? All right. That is taken care of. The, under new business, Civic Plus updates. I know Shannon has been going back and forth with Civic Plus and John on, getting a couple things corrected and some stuff added to the website. So without her here, I don't know exactly where she's at. I know she's been working on it.
I don't have anything new on that other than just, we need to make sure that we've seen all that through. And as mentioned at the last meeting, the company is going to require a change in the overall structure and platform is going to change on that sometime this summer. Civic Plus themselves will be doing most of that. We will have to, some of us will have to be involved with it to some extent. I don't know what that is yet. But whoever the appropriate ones of us are will have a smaller part in that. And speaking of all that, for the matter for public record, our clerk informed me earlier that she has received some public feedback that the Unicode ordinance library, in other words, the town code, whatever you want to call it, it seems to, for some people, to be difficult to find. And I was gone out of town when I got word of that, but I looked at it at home earlier today briefly. I'm not entirely sure why it's that difficult, because it is under the government tab where you would expect ordinances to be, and then you simply click town code and it takes you to Unicode, which is an external site. So just so that everyone is aware, that's where you find it, is under the government tab and town code. And then she recommended that maybe we change the verbiage of that to simply say ordinances, and I think that's probably not a bad idea. However, those headings up in that part of it are not the parts that we can get into to change. That's the part that's in the underlying structure of the site that they have to do that from their side. So there was something I was going to do a few months ago. I don't even remember what it was, but I was on the phone with them one day about some issue I was having, and they said that type of thing up in those menus, they have to do that from their side. That's not in our content management. So I can't do anything about that right now. Since the platform is getting ready to change, or whatever maybe that's not the best word, but the overall structure is getting ready to get remodeled. That probably will just be a part of that process. So if everybody will bear with us for a couple of months, we'll try to have a better look on that. But it's going to be a sizable project.
All right, moving right along. Audio video equipment for council chamber. Bob, I think you've been working on this, haven't you?
Yeah, we really need to determine what is our budget gonna be before we decide what route we wanna go. Because if it's only 2,000, there's no point in getting a quote, because it's gonna be more than that. If we say that it's 10,000, I think that's a much more likely number that we'll be paying. So I think that's a big thing we need to make a determination on, is how much money do we want. Point Source Audio is willing to come in and do a consultation. But I just want to get a feeling, we don't have to take a vote, but are we willing to spend more than $2,000 on this? I think at the bare minimum, it's got to be at least that, because it's.
Well, let me ask you, what are you thinking about how it's gonna work? Are you gonna have, speakers dropping down from the ceiling, or what are you thinking?
What I've seen is that you will generally get, it's called a pan tilt zoom camera that can actually move and follow the speakers, and it also has a wide angle lens. This is what they use in Chatham's county meeting. Yeah. No, the
County meeting.
The county meeting. I'm not sure what
Oh,
the town does. But they have a camera that can actually physically zoom in. So if someone's standing speaking there, it will pan to that speaker, see them, and then they have these things called spectral audio microphones that basically they can either hang from the ceiling or you can place them on the tabletop, and they have essentially like a directional way of picking up sound in a room. So it can tell where the sound's coming from and then lock in on that sound to make it higher quality coming from that location, and then the camera focuses on that.
Bob, have you checked on any type of prices for that?
Yes, if we wanted to do it ourselves, which I don't recommend, but it would be around $5,000 for professional grade equipment. And then just using AI to help me find estimates of other similar size, it was saying around 11,000. Now that's AI, it may be completely off. So that's why I just want to make sure we are comfortable spending more than $2,000-3,000 before we start going down this path, because it will cost probably somewhere in the 10 grand is what my research has shown to get it done by a professional. But that means that really we just press a button, it goes live. We'll have to edit some, like the name of the meeting and things like that afterwards, but it's nothing that I'm not already doing all manually. So it would be extremely simple. So if I'm not here, someone can just hit a button, camera works, it goes live. Anybody subscribed to the channel can get a notification when that occurs, and then it gets saved and they can watch it anytime, just like they can with what we're doing right now, but it'll just be tremendously better quality than what we have.
But we've been messing around with this stuff for, since you were made.
We started talking about it sometime in my second term.
Yeah.
Got during the pandemic.
If you want, I'll just get the quote, but I'd like to know that we're comfortable spending a few grand on this.
Well, I don't think we're gonna have any choice on it, because as Shannon brought up at the last meeting where we gotta do disability,
Yeah.
online disability, you know, for what somebody can't hear, somebody can't read.
ADA compliant.
It's gotta be ADA compliant on that end of it, just on the computer stuff. I don't see where we're gonna be having ladies.
Well, the good news is that we're actually already ADA compliant. The way YouTube does their closed captioning, it just does an auto-generated closed caption of our meetings. So if you watch any of our meetings on YouTube now, as long as our microphone's picking it up, it will auto-translate and caption it, and you can even do different languages.
That part, I think we're in decent shape. The problem is that our audio and video quality is just not that good and not that reliable.
Right.
And I have to be here.
And it's no disrespect to me.
There's only one person here that's familiar with how to operate it. I think what bothers me here is the timing of this. It's obvious that it's something we've been needing to do for years. It's something that we should do for our constituents, for the public, and not just for ourselves. It should have already been done. It's a perfect storm financially, and just not a big one, because we're here at the changeover of a fiscal year in a couple of weeks. And I mentioned that it would be nice if at least some of this could be paid for out of the outgoing budget, because I wish that we had budgeted $10,000 for something like this in the proposed budget, and we didn't. It wasn't really on the radar with everything else that was going on at the time. And, I'm responsible for that, and so is all of us, I guess. But, we didn't pick that up. And the limited conversation I've had with our man, he doesn't feel that there's going to be a lot of money left over at the end of June. But our treasurer's here, I probably should defer to her comment on that. We're paying for her expertise, not mine. But if we can find at least half of that in the outgoing FY, it would be helpful. And we wouldn't start out the new one going over budget. I don't know where you put that, office equipment or infrastructure. I mean, there's 2 or 3 places probably we could make it fit with the semantics, but, Treasurer?
I think I would definitely have to take a look. I know it could, partial of it could go for office equipment, because it is general, and try and see how, if we can divide it between a few different accounts. That's definitely something that I can look into.
I think you can find, to add to your comfort level, money in some of the accounts. But if you're losing $60,000, what difference is another 10, the way I look at it?
Well, some accounts, every year, you have some things that have some money left in them, and then you have some that have gone over.
Yeah, the bottom line is all accounts.
And you have to look at the total, not just the individuals.
Right.
So now, you feel that we're gonna be 60,000 over on the general fund?
That the job on it. And the state feels like that too.
This year's budget.
Yeah.
The one that's ending in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of crazy expenses
Well,
that no one prepared for.
Let's keep in mind that the fuel surcharge on garbage collection is a large part of that.
Oh, yeah.
It's not all of it, but it certainly would be a majority. I feel comfortable saying that.
Pretty much half, isn't it?
No, it's,
No,
Probably more than that, isn't it?
I don't think
It was,
it
it
is.
wasn't necessarily the fuel charge, it was just a misunderstanding of the invoice amount.
they didn't
It's
charge
spread
us,
through the whole thing.
yeah, they didn't charge us the correct amount of
I mean,
previous
through the
fiscal
whole
year.
budget. I mean, I got the thing wrong. I mean, you can go do that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, we had that big payout we had to do to catch up where it had gotten started wrong going back into a previous FY. Isn't that true?
I think it started in July, or like.
So it started
really
at the
close.
beginning of the current, not
Yes.
back into the previous.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, either way, it accounts for not all, but a sizable amount of the going over and the total.
But you need it.
I think we do.
And I agree with you 100%, and, you know, my whole point is, if you go from 60 to 70, what's the big deal?
I understand, because we have it in reserves, thankfully.
If we need to, we do have the
I
reserve
mean, that's what
capacity
it's gotta go.
covered, and the other thing to think about it is, it's a one-time thing, it's not a recurrent thing,
Yeah.
we gotta do it again every year, it should last several years,
It should hopefully last a decade at the bare minimum.
it should last a decade, so, I mean, at that point, a lot of things will change anyway.
Yeah, and I'm not looking for a vote, I'm just looking for what is people's comfort level? Should I proceed knowing this will cost us quite a bit of money? Not an astronomical amount, but it's not gonna be just a grant, right? It's gonna be,
More like two.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be honest, 10 grand in audio, video equipment isn't a whole lot of super nice equipment. I mean.
Well, thankfully, we don't need a lot of it.
Exactly, but what I'm saying is, we're not talking about spending a lot of money for what we're getting.
So it sounds like you're in favor of it.
I don't have a
I'd
problem
say
with
get
it
them
at
to
all.
come look at it and give us a number.
Okay.
Yeah.
You good? All right.
I'm all right.
We'll call them tomorrow.
Because a lot of them say, hey, we can go for 8.
Yeah.
Well, I don't wanna go in there and they give us a quote for $12,000 and we spend a lot of time and then not pull the trigger, right?
Yeah, but those guys, they come out to job sites all the time, they don't get the gig.
Yeah, I'm not worried about their time so much, more worried about our time.
Yeah, if we're gonna get Bob to do this, I think we need to have a general consensus that we're gonna move forward with it unless some kind of compelling reason comes up unexpectedly.
But we owe it to our people to give them some decent quality stuff. I mean, that,
Yeah.
I'd say 10 to 12, yes, 15 to 20, no.
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I
That's a
don't
good-
disagree with that.
But just so you know, people have given very good feedback on what we're doing here. They want to see it better. But I've been told by many people in the community that they enjoy being able to watch it. I keep them in little playlists. You can go back and watch it. So I'll call them tomorrow.
We just need
For
to get
once-
this done and do it right.
For one stretch, I mean, 6 to 8 months, not so long ago, that was the biggest complaint we got. I mean, it was after every meeting.
Yeah.
You get 5 or 6 or 7 phone calls, and,
We've been kicking this can down the road long enough.
yeah.
Okay.
We need to get it done.
All right. We'll call them tomorrow and then I'll have to work with you on timing to bring it in.
Never, pretty much, I'm here.
You
Sleep here sometime.
All right.
Roll on.
Sounds good.
Shoot. I had something else. Oh, the, state has reworked out contract on the, consent order loan and all, so we've got a new one coming to us that, John and I met with the bond counsel and state people on yesterday. And, of course, it's changing in their favor. But, you know, they want to make sure that we are addressing the reserves, we are addressing these repairs that we're supposed to be doing in the Davenport plan, you know, fire hydrants and stuff that we're supposed to be getting kept up and all, and they're just, you know, they're saying it's like, you know, we've been ignoring it. And they want to see this stuff happening. We're gonna have to adhere to that infrastructure improvement plan, the general maintenance, and all of this stuff, and they want to see our plan as to when we're gonna do it, how we're gonna do it, and they wanna make sure that we stick to it. And that's part of that, our signing an agreement, we're gonna do that, is part of getting that loan. I mean, that's a sidebar agreement.
So they want a spending plan.
No, they want a maintenance plan on doing that. Now, it's gotta come from reserves, we're gonna have to spend money to do all of this. But it, you know, what was that, it wasn't capital improvement plan, it was, Joe wasn't here.
Yeah, it was a CIP.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, last meeting, we told Joe to to do a new truck and 2 fire hydrants at the very least.
Yeah, but it's a lot more than just
Yeah.
fire hydrants, but they wanna make sure that we're doing everything in that plan, and they want us, we're gonna have to stick to that plan going forward for years.
Yeah, I mean, Joe has a list of assets that need to be fixed. What more do they need than that? Do they need a timeline of when we?
Yeah, they wanna know a timeline, and they, like I said, they got a separate agreement that's gotta have John Henry on it that locks us into doing that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we're doing this increasing costs is to be able to pay for that.
Yeah. And I guess what they look at is, okay, we did this thing 2 years ago with Davenport, and we haven't done anything since then.
Agreed.
And, you know, they are, I hate to say they don't trust us, but we haven't delivered. I'll put it like that, on what we should have been doing.
Yeah,
They're
well,
a
we get,
little uneasy because they haven't seen enough continuity
Yeah.
in progress now, and there does need to be, we've got so much that needs doing.
I know it's a busy time, but has Joe contacted any of these suppliers for this equipment, like the fire hydrants we have to purchase?
I know he's been talking to some of them, yeah.
Okay.
But, I mean, he is absolutely 100% sworn. I mean, they were down at the pump station all weekend because one of the pumps went out. I told you I was down there with them Saturday morning. And they got the guy from the company, he's coming in to take a look at it. But these things are just, right now, they're just limping along.
I can build a spinning plan. I mean, that's not hard, but I'm not Joe. I don't know what he knows. So if he wants me to build a spinning plan and then he modify it, I'm more than happy to do that.
I think he's pretty much got the starts of a plan and all. I'll tell him to give you a call. And
Yeah.
you can come down and sit with him and take a look at it.
Yeah.
But it's just, I mean, everything around here is time to get on it and get going. It's just so much going on because, you know, we're running in on Plaza, we're running in on water treatment plant, new one up here, we're running in on consent order. And you know, we got basically 3 people. And these 3 people are doing the work of 20 people. If you go somewhere like a larger town, Danville, they got a whole crew doing the same amount of work that is going on down here. And it's a lot and it's stressful.
How has Bob helped in the public works area?
Well, Bob is pretty much working on the water treatment plant, getting it cleaned up, getting it ready for when all that starts, making sure he knows what's working, what isn't working, whether it's a problem here, whether it's a problem there. So when everybody comes in, you don't have to spend time looking for different things. He helps him doing some of the mowing every now and then and stuff like that. But he isn't, you know, 100% of his time isn't with public works. And he's, you wouldn't say that, you know, he's a guy that you can send out to replace a water meter.
Okay.
He's a licensed water treatment plant person. He's not a fix a water meter kind of guy.
Okay. Does he have documentation on all of these issues and things that
The
are
water
going on?
treatment plant, he's a class 1.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
he's the highest class there is.
I understand that.
You're talking about what's wrong with that.
Yeah, you said
Yeah.
he's gone through and checked all. Does he have documentation he's building for the engineers to look at? Or is
Sure.
it just?
Yeah, he's noting everything he's doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do a walkthrough with him like we did the other day, and you'll be satisfied with him.
I wouldn't have put my hat in to hire him if I didn't feel satisfied with him, but what I want to know is all of that knowledge documented in a spreadsheet or a Word document somewhere so that it can be handed off? We call it, in my company, well, we have a bad name for it, but if something were to happen,
Yeah.
that knowledge is valuable, that I don't want to lose.
And the other side of that is, that's why I wanted to bring him in, you know, April when we did, because every meeting we've had here on that water treatment plant, whether it's with Siemens English or the engineers, Dewberry, whomever, Bob has been a huge part of those meetings, going through, talking to them about it, because if they've got a question about that plant, he's the man gonna answer it, and he can answer it,
I'm glad to hear that.
yeah.
Where is he working out of? Because we don't have enough office space in here. Is it mostly up at the plant?
Mostly up there. That's why I say, if you go up that, if you had seen it prior to where it's at now, you know, you would understand the change, but it's night and day.
It's great.
It's unbelievable. And we brought in, a guy to change, I think I told you, a guy to change the locks on the doors. So we're gonna get that taken care of.
If I'm understanding you right, what the state wants to see, like in Davenport plan where it said, replace the water main on Dogwood Lane. They wanna know that you're gonna replace that water main on Dogwood Lane by May 25th, 2027. It's gonna be, that's what they're wanting to see.
And they wanna see
And that you delivered that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They want to see a timeline plan, and then next year when they check it, they want to see you.
Right, did the contract that you got all the paperwork from the contractor that replaced that water main?
Yeah, they've seen the plan that we need to replace it, they just hadn't seen where it got done.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just need to put a timeline to it.
Actually, Joe, has an expiration. I mean, it's really just the inverse of that.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't take too long to build.
Yeah. Then it's just getting contractors in to do it.
Yeah, and repairing breaks in water lines while you're trying to do all this stuff too, and we've had an inordinate amount of breaks here lately.
But any that we should be aware of? Any major ones?
No.
Okay.
Not real major, but I mean, if you gotta go bore under the road and stuff like that, it just takes time.
Have they done that?
Yes.
Where did they do that?
They did one on, Prospect, didn't they, Jason? Didn't they do one going down toward Oakwood or something, down there?
They did a repair on Oakwood. They did an underbore on
And they got,
Prospect.
and they gotta do an underbore on Darrell Lane,
They did
for
a-
that new house going in there too.
Yeah, they did another repair on, Riverview also.
Yeah.
I can't remember if that was an underbore or not, but I know they did a repair. I think he just did it with the excavator.
And he was on the phone today, and when I was in there asking him a question about, he was talking to the people, the inspectors in Pennsylvania County about getting them out for some other work that we've gotta do too. So, they're pretty smart. Any other questions? I think well, I guess what we need to do now is get on with the budget approval.
Well, I mean, we spent a fair amount of time, all of us, getting that proposal ready to advertise. It has been advertised. I'm prepared to make a motion on it, but I would think the appropriate thing to do would be to go around and let everybody else go first and see if they have any thoughts, comments, questions, any public feedback, input. Honestly, I have not had that much feedback on it, either way. So I would hopefully take that to mean that there's not a lot of dissatisfaction with it. It has not been an easy process. It never is, because there's things that we have to do that we would rather not do. But as we were just talking about, the town has so much that needs doing. And not enough people, not enough equipment. We've still got a long road ahead. A long road.
I'll just say on the budget, the way I feel about it. First of all, I'd like to thank you fellows for the work you put in. I know y'all did a lot of work, as well as the whole council, but especially you two. And I've talked to several of the townspeople, tell them what to expect. And I guess just to put it in short terms, The real estate will go up a cent and a half. Water's going up 79 cents. What we call the meter reading or the maintenance fee, that will increase $1. What'd I leave out? Those three was it, wasn't it?
The decal went down.
The decal went down a little bit to align with the
So,
county.
the way I put it, we don't buy anything as far as our family budget for what we bought last year. There's been a drastic increase on everything, especially fuel prices. So the town follows suit. It happens to the town as well as it does individual families. Nobody likes a tax increase, myself included. But it has to be in order to maintain a township. So with all of the increases, inflation, and a cent and a half on the real estate, the 79 cent on the water, that's a mandate. That's really not in our control, so to speak. We don't have the say-so on that as much as we would like to have. With the new water treatment plant coming, hopefully we can see some relief when that comes into being. But right now, it's kind of hurting and wait until that gets going. So, I think it's a good budget, and I'm in favor of the budget.
Anybody else?
I think it's a very good budget. The only thing I'll say is, said it before, Mayor said it before, stick to the line items. And if they're gonna go south, they go south. That's the only way you're gonna know how to fix them is if they go south. Because if you pack them from another one, then you never know what the true numbers are. So, you know, if we got a line that goes south, it needs to go south. That way we know in 2027, 28.
It's easier to identify what it was.
Yes, yes. Because when you buffer it, then you think you're gonna remember it and
You don't
You don't.
usually.
I just want to thank you too for the fine job you've done. Even though you know how much I'm against water rates, you know how I'm against these taxes, I do know it's needed. But anyway, I just think you guys did a fantastic job on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if we could lower it, that's what we would try to do, as long as it met the goals that we want as a town to bring audio in, renovate the plaza, get the water treatment plant, maintain our consent order. Those are really the four things that we need to focus on, as well as take care of our employees, do a great job, obviously. So, I'm in favor of it.
Well, Bob, thank you for your help with it. Gary, everyone who has had any part in this process, big or small.
Do I get to say anything? Do I get to say anything?
Sorry about that, I gotta tell myself, go right ahead.
All I ask is, simple. We don't use trends. Trend is what we see with these three budgets. You know, trends is McDonald's gonna figure out how many Big Macs they need to cook next Wednesday. If you look at a trend, we lost money last year, this year, and we're gonna lose it next year probably. That's a trend. We need to use inflation adjustments in these budgets. State agrees with us. Don't understand why we don't. That's the only way we're gonna stop hemorrhaging dollars. That's all I ask. Give these people in this town a budget that don't lose them money. That's all I gotta say.
All right.
So do you feel that if this were, you know, if next year at this time, and it's gonna be someone else doing more of it next time, more on that later, but if it were done based more on that and less on trends and other historical methodologies that we've used ever since I've been here and before, How do you see the increases from that comparing to the increases that we're doing now? I mean, are you thinking about a quantum leap or something just a little bit more?
No, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna use the government figures on what they're telling you inflation's gonna be. This year, we already know, they're telling us that inflation for the upcoming year is gonna be between 2.35 and 2.75%. So you calculate that into all of your expenditures, which you're buying, because if you're buying a product from somebody in the private sector or work on these guys, they're buying parts. All of our parts are going up. So they're increasing their prices as they go, and you're getting caught by paying these higher prices. The inflation is eroding away the numbers that you put in that budget. It's eating them alive. That's why you have to use the inflation adjustment in it, so that you don't have if you put in $300 for this item, for this line item, then that's getting eroded because of the additional costs that you're absorbing through the individual invoices and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, every business in the world does it like that.
Well, based on that and what was said a while ago about the CIP and all that needs doing that and how we're behind on that, there's going to be a lot of work to do, not just during this upcoming FY, but when you start this process again next time around after New Year's, it's going to be more difficult than it was this year. Very likely the increases will have to be bigger. There'll have to be some other difficult decisions faced. It's the nature of the beast. And we don't have any sizable amount of what some people might colloquially call pork or fat or whatever adjective you want to use. There's not that much of it here. If we're going to be a town, we've got to function the way a town functions in 2026, not the way it functioned in 1986. We have to do the way it's done now, or it can't perpetuate. We can't long for the days when everything was simple and bare basics, and this is not the proverbial Mayberry. Whether you're hurt Virginia or Hilo, Hawaii, you've got to do what you've got to do in the time period you live in.
I want to throw one thing in right along with what you're saying. The councils have taken steps through the years to see to it that they're giving this town opportunity. The water treatment plant in the plaza, that's going to go toward reducing water rates. So you don't have to use your budget to help the town's residents save something. The water treatment plant is going to help. The plaza over here is going to help reduce the tax rates. It's going to be contributing to all of that. So now you're not 100% reliant on your budget to give the people a reduction in taxes to help them save a little bit. These things are going to be paying their share, so they don't have to pay.
Well, exactly. That's what we've been working on trying to bring about for years. And I mean, I totally agree with you. People are going to have to ask people to continue to be patient with us, because this is a process. It's not an event. And I've used that expression repeatedly before. But it's not like suddenly next year all that's going to be in place and everything working.
Right.
It's going to gradually happen over several years. The operative word there is gradual.
But they'll reap the benefit.
The benefit, we have every reason to believe that it will come when the new water plant is fully operational. It appears likely that we will be able to considerably reduce this volumetric rate. But that's not going to be this summer or next. It's going to take 2 or 3 years to get to the point where that starts happening. And then it's going to take it a little while longer to play out. We're talking about long-term things here, not short-term things. I hope to see this plaza thriving with businesses and bringing in meals tax, sales tax, whatever type of tax is applicable. That's how Alta Vista is able to keep real estate low on their citizens. They have a huge base of taxes that are based on business and commerce. And that's the direction we're trying to move. But it's going to take time and endurance. And in the meantime, I don't think we should sit here and cut to the bone and barely get by and try to live on past. We have no path forward doing that.
But this town is changing for the good.
It is.
This town is changing with what's going on here with Avio coming in. You know, that's gonna be dropping in close to $70,000 a year in taxes when they get up and running. You've got the water treatment plant. All of this stuff is gonna make life better. It's gonna make our residents, not make them, but allow them to have more money at the end of the month in their checking account because of all of this. It's gonna change people's lives, and it's gonna change this town, and it's gonna give this town opportunity it's never had.
The implications of what is forthcoming are tremendous. Okay, don't underestimate them. This is a game changer for this region. But again, it will take it a period of time to play out. It will not suddenly all be done at this time next year. All right. In view of everything that's been said, we have advertised the budget that we developed as a group after several repeated, lengthy discussions in the month of May. We've weighed it up every way we can. We're just about out of time on the calendar. We do, if we're going to need to do a preliminary approval tonight, hopefully we'll succeed. We have to come back after at least 7 days and do a final approval. And it's my understanding that we need to meet again next Wednesday for a short time for a county-related public comment period.
Yeah, we're gonna do a joint meeting with Pennsylvania County and the town of Hurt, Wednesday the 24th, and it's gonna be, not a public hearing, but a public comment period on the grant that we have for the water treatment plant. It will allow, and it's advertised in the paper today, I think, everybody to come in, talk about that, express their opinions, ask questions and all. So it's joint between us and Pennsylvania County in reference to the grant.
Now, that's only the Economic Development Department. It's not the Board of Supervisors,
Right.
full board, or the planning commission.
Yeah, it's
It's a
just,
staff level meeting.
it's gonna be staff.
Okay. All right, so we will be meeting next Wednesday at 6 for that.
6 o'clock, yeah.
And then after that, we can have our final approval on the agenda and any follow-up from, AV equipment and anything else that we need to follow up on.
Yeah, I mean, we could do, yeah. I would recommend we just go in and have that public hearing and be done with that, and then we take up our business.
That's what I was thinking. All right, in view of all of that, I would like to make a motion to issue a preliminary approval on the proposed fiscal year 26-27 operating budget as advertised, with an anticipated final approval next Wednesday evening, June 24th.
I'll second.
Steve,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Alex.
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Gary.
Yes.
There you go.
I'll have one other announcement after everybody else is
Anybody have anything else for the good of the cause? I guess I probably ought to say that we have the election coming up in November. We have 3 seats coming up, and we have 3 people running for those seats. Bob Major, Jeremiah Knowles, and David Arthur. Yep.
Yeah, those are the seats of Paul Johnson, myself, and Gary Quindex.
David Arthur that retired for that.
Yeah,
He's a good man,
Is it?
Air Force guy. Yeah.
very good man.
I don't know him personally, I just know who he is because he lives down the road from me.
I've worked with him for about 15 years, he's a great guy.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've heard, super nice guy.
You two are, right?
I am.
My announcement is that I will not be seeking re-election this fall. I will cite a variety of family and personal reasons for that. I will elaborate as appropriate on that at a later date. I'll make some kind of official statement about it. Some of that information is not public information, and the part that is, it's just not the time to go into it tonight. But there's nothing wrong, nobody mad at anybody, anything like that. It's simply time to take a break and address some family and personal matters that have been needing attention for some time. There's been a lot of changes for us on different sides of the family in recent months, and there's just not hours in the day or the week to do it all, and none of us are getting any younger. So it's time to take a short break. I do not know what the future is. I'm not ruling out something in 2028, but it's much too soon to be talking about anything like that. But for 2026, I'm not seeking re-election, and I think that we have three good people who have signed up and that will keep us moving forward. And that right there is the most important thing, is to keep us moving forward.
And I'm not seeking re-election either, because my job is shifting one more time at Abbott, and I just don't have the availability to go in late like I have been blessed to do. I will be on a very strict schedule that just will not allow it.
I'm sorry to hear that for both of you all. I know I personally appreciate the contribution both of you all have made, and I know but you've been doing it for decades now. So definitely, you're both going to be missed greatly.
Well, they missed a lot.
I second both of those. I hate to see you go.
I appreciate that, but
It's cell phone though.
Yeah, don't forget your way down here.
Just don't send Steve an email.
Text.
one thing we all need to keep in mind, in this country, whether it's a small local office like this or something at a county or state level or even at the national level, a lot of the dysfunctionality that exists in government across this country is attributable to the same people staying in the same offices too many years without too many consecutive terms without taking a break. And that stifles new ideas and perspectives and energy from coming in. There needs to be some degree of changeover, some influx. And at the same time, there needs to be some protection against those that would seek office for the wrong reasons. There's a delicate balance there. But I feel very good about stepping aside for now and taking this break, and I'm here to throw my full support behind my successors and those of you who will remain until the next cycle.
Yeah, I mean, doing a town's business is, I call it business, and that's what it is. I mean, you gotta treat it like a business. You gotta run it like a business.
We appreciate it all. Thank you so much. But we have 6 more months to work together.
That's right.
We got plenty more to do.
We have a lot to do in
Yeah.
the second half of this year. It's not time to coast. This is just halftime. We have something called a comprehensive plan it's already expired. It should have already been done, and we've got to fix one for the next quinquennium. And then there's other things, but that's one of the bigger ones. So we got our work cut out for us from now to New Year's.
Any other questions, ideas, thoughts? We are adjourned at 8:10. Thank you for that.